Red Alert World War III. Chinese convoy enters Ukraine to fight on the side of Russia. Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachakwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return, and double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Red Alert World War III update. Chinese military convoy enters Ukraine to fight on the side of Russia. Now, I'm not going to necessarily put update in the title of this video. So right here, as we see in the video, that this is a news article that was found by a guy who goes by the name of Off-Grid Desert Farming with Paul and Adriani, or Adriani, if I'm saying that correctly. No, that's Adrini. Okay, but I don't know, however you pronounce it. But I typed into Google search bar, Ukraine, Chinese convoy in Ukraine, from and basically they kept giving me news articles that dated back several months ago. So after much digging, I found the article here, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And as you can see right here, this article was just uploaded, recently, on the 18th. Okay, so I managed to find the article here. By the way, the people on this comment board, they're lost. I'm not even going to pay attention to the comment board. But it's full of dead people, basically zombies. But here, we got the world, right? Then we got bulletin. Then we got Chinese military convoy enters Ukraine from Russia. And this is a news bulletin, as you see right here. And this article was uploaded from HowTurnerRadioshow.com. Lord's will, I'm gonna take this this right here, put it in the description box so you brothers can read this for yourself. But I'm gonna go ahead and read some of this article here. So what you see right here are pictures of Chinese military convoys which are entering Ukraine from Russia. Okay, here's one picture. I'm gonna just go ahead and click on the picture here. Here's another picture so you can get a closer look at it. Okay, the red place car on the driver's side doors is the flag of China, as you see right here. If you've been paying attention, of course, you'd be able to see that. The red place card, the red placard on the driver's side of the door is the flag of China, as you see right here. Okay, here we go. More pictures of Chinese military convoys entering Ukraine from Russia. This simple small act changed the entire dynamic of the Russia-Ukraine situation. Ukraine, the United States of America, the United Kingdom, and all of NATO have just found out that China is now an active participant and came in on the side of Russia. You see? It says the stakes in this situation just went so high, they went completely off the charts. It is no understatement to say this is an earth-shattering development. More when I get it. Video is coming within minutes. Check back. Okay, so here we go. This is a video showing Chinese military convoys in Ukraine. Let's play the video.
Нынешние. Это вторая колонна, которую сегодня встречаем.
Wait, let's rewind that back. What do you notice about this right here? What do you notice about this picture? You see these texts right here on the side of this truck? These are Chinese texts. Okay? I wish I can view this in HD. Picture in picture. Okay? You can see it more clearly, but they'll show you. Okay, you can see it more clearly right here. Chinese text. Okay, these are Chinese characters on the side of this truck right here. Okay, and I'm very familiar with Chinese and Japanese text, or Chinese and Japanese characters. But you can clearly see it right here on the side of this war vehicle that these are Chinese texts. So it's confirmed that there is Chinese military convoys entering Ukraine from Russia. Hey man, it's about to get serious. And while all this is going on, there is currently over 50,000 United States troops stationed in Iran. So think about where all this is heading. Something big is about to happen. World War III, we're here, baby. We are here, ahchyam. World War III, we are here. Okay, the CHIP is being pushed at an all-time high in the news. People is going to get CHIPP E to the D left and right. And meanwhile, the United States have over 50,000 troops stationed in Iran. The so-called Israelis is coming up with multiple accusations in order to make a justifiable move on Iran. I'm talking about the so-called Israelis. They're coming out with all kind of accusations against Iran, so they can make their so-called justifiable move on Iran. Okay, it says, with this single small, almost insignificant action, China had just announced to the whole world that it is now militarily standing with Russia inside Ukraine. Woo! Hey! You know what? Let me get that. Let me get that, man. We're living in beautiful times, ahchyam. Hey, we're living in beautiful times, man. The book of Romans, chapter 13, verse, I don't know if it's 13 verse 10 or 11. Okay, Romans chapter 13 verse 11, it says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. If you're a Hebrew Israelite, if you can hear and understand his word, this is the time to repent, man. Okay? Repent. Turn away from your iniquities. Because the Lord is about to bring holy hell on this earth, man. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. Our salvation is much closer than when we believed, man. You know? Much closer. You know, this is a major step, you know, to leading to the end of Esau Edom's empire. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness. And what are the works of darkness? The works of this world. Okay? Because the works of this world is evil. It is darkness. It is wickedness. And like it tells you in the book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 10, the ways of this world will destroy you, even with a sore destruction. So arise ye and depart. Micah 2 and 10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. And let us put on the armor of light. The armor of light is the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Holy Scriptures, which is Yahweh. Okay, let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness. Okay, rioting and drunkenness, meaning you being drunken off of the ways of this world. And some examples of being drunken off of the ways of this world is what? You being a smoker, you getting tattoos, you know, you got this herd mentality of growing dreads because you see other people doing it. You see your favorite rap artist is doing it. You know, you doing drugs, you selling drugs, you're gang banging, you committing sodomy, you're running the train on women. You know, you're being a pimp. You know, you're being a harlot, a sodomite. You know, you're committing pedophilia. You're doing all manner of abominations, man. You're lining yourself up. You're making cuttings in your flesh. You know. So don't be drunken with the ways of this world, man. Come up out of the ways of this world, okay? And the Hebrew Israelites are the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indians. So if you're a Hebrew Israelite, you need to come up out of the ways of this world. Like it tells you in Ezekiel 3 verse 17, therefore hear the word at the Lord's mouth and give them warning from him. So we're giving you warning. Okay, repent or the Lord is going to bring judgment on you. Okay, so it says not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying. Okay, but put ye on the Lord Yahweh, which is the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Holy Scriptures. Because as it is written, lo, the Lord cometh in the volume of the book, it is written of him. It says, and make not provisions for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. Okay, so the day of the Lord is going to come like a thief in the night on these people. So it says superpowers number 2 and number 3 are now openly physically confronting superpower 1. Okay, which superpower 1 would be the United States of America, because they are helping Ukraine. Superpowers 2 would be Russia, and superpowers 3 would be China. It says, it seems to me that we in the United States of America and our European vassal state partners ought to get the message and get it quick. I personally perceive the message to be either this Ukraine nonsense stops now, or open warfare between all 3 nuclear armed superpowers is now on the table. Oh, but it's biblical prophecy. World War III is going to happen, which you might as well say we're in World War III. And during World War III is going to escalate into a nuclear war. But World War III is really going to get popping when those so-called Israelis go into the land of Iran and attack them. Because when that happens, those 50,000 plus troops that are stationed in Iran, they're going to be drawn out into this confrontation against Iran because of the so-called Israelis. It tells you that in Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 14. Surely the least of the flock, which are the so-called Israelis, shall draw them out. Shall draw who out? Shall draw out the Babylonians, which is the United States of America. And so the so-called Israelis, they're going to draw the United States of America out into their confrontation against Iran. And when that happens, Russia's going to step in, and they're going to attack the United States of America. They're going to attack those United States troops in Iran, and they're going to attack those so-called Israelis. And when that happens, NATO is going to step in, because NATO is an ally of America. When that happens, China is going to step in, because they're an ally of Russia. When that happens, Germany is going to step in, because they're an ally of the United States of America. When that happens, North Korea is going to step in, because they're an ally of Russia. You know, South Korea is going to step in, because they're an ally of the United States. You know, Turkey is going to step in, because they're an ally of Russia. And just like that, over there in the Middle East, where Iran is located, you're going to have all of the world's superpowers getting involved in the war to end all wars, World War III, which is going to start off as a war fought with tanks, troops, war jets, war choppers, war planes, drones, warships, grenades, rocket-propelled grenade launchers, super high-tech futuristic weapons, you know. And then it's going to escalate into a nuclear war, which is going to be the end of Edom's empire. So this is an update right here, which was updated at 5:28 p.m. from the Hal Turner commentary. Let me see. So it says here, serious new deployment. China publicly supports Russia actions in Ukraine. As part of that report, I detailed to you, among the other things, the following. Li Zhanshu is the head of China's legislator. It says the chairman of the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress. He's number 3 in the rigid hierarchy of the CPC. A very big fish. So where was Mr. Li last week? Well, at the Eastern Economic Forum in Vladivostok, Russia. He met and talked with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Li also had a key meeting with Russia State Duma, the Russian legislator, Speaker Vyacheslav Volodin. By the way, just for edification, the word Slav is Russian for slave. A lot of people don't know that, but Slav is how you say slave in Russia. It says, and other Duma leaders, it says, this is what he told Duma, pay very close attention. It says, we see that the United States and its NATO allies are expanding their presence near the Russian borders, seriously threatening national security and the lives of Russian citizens. We fully understand the necessity of all the measures taken by Russia aimed at protecting its key interests, which is in Iran. Nonetheless, we are providing our assistance. How explicit is that? Well, China's President Xi Jinping and Russia's President Putin will have a special meeting on the sidelines of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Samarkand Summit tomorrow. They will discuss Russia's Special Military Operation SMO and Ukraine in detail, especially the next steps. Then afterwards, we may be able to ascertain that Lee meant when he said we are providing our assistance. Here we are, just 72 hours later, and we are now beginning to see exactly what Mr. Lee meant when he said we are providing our assistance to Russia. Consider also that China gave no hint at all about what they were about to do. No warnings, no ultimatums to the United States or to Europe. They simply showed up in Ukraine, entering through Russia. That said, absolutely everything that needed to be said. It says this is no longer the US, EU, NATO versus Russia. This is the collective West versus now two nuclear armed superpowers. Woo! Hold on, let's get that. Let's get that though. Because according to biblical prophecy, there is going to be a nuclear war, and it's going to escalate into, there's going to, during World War III, it's going to escalate into a nuclear war. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 14. It says, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. Babylon is the United States of America. And right now, what are we seeing? We're seeing these countries putting themselves in array against Babylon, right? The stages is being set for a nuclear war. All ye that bend the bow represents the silos in which these nuclear missiles sit in. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord. The arrows is a representation of these intercontinental ballistic missiles. And a matter of fact, let's go to the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 16, verse 1. We're going to type in Central F here and type in arrows. Oh, my bad. Hold on. Central F, then arrows. Okay, so this is 2nd Esdras chapter 16 verse 10. He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? The earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof. The sea riseth up with waves from the deep. Right, because in the book of Isaiah chapter 13 verse 13, it tells you the earth is going to reel to and fro like a drunkard. Why? Because so many nuclear bombs is going to be hitting this country, the United States of America, so many nuclear bombs is going to be getting dropped on the land of Israel. And there's going to be intercontinental ballistic missiles that's going to be shot off, that's going to be hitting other parts of these other countries, like parts of Asia, parts of China, parts of Europe, parts of the Middle East. etc., etc. You know, and basically, so many nuclear bombs is going to be hitting this planet that it tells you that the Earth is going to be moved out of its axis. So it says that around that same time during the nuclear war that there's going to be a great earthquake that's going to happen upon this entire planet from the impact of these from the impact of the nuclear bombs falling out of the intercontinental ballistic missiles. So it says the earth quaketh from the impact of this nuclear war, of this catastrophic nuclear war, the coming catastrophic nuclear war, which is prophesied to happen in the Holy Scriptures. The earth quaketh in the foundations thereof, the sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also, before the Lord and before the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. The bow represents the silos in which the intercontinental ballistic missiles sit in. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows, the arrows is a representation of the intercontinental ballistic missiles. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss. So these intercontinental ballistic missiles, which are going to be shot off from China, from Russia, from North Korea, from Iran, from South Korea, even from NATO, because the scriptures tell you that NATO is going to turn on the United States of America. These missiles that's going to be shot off from these different countries, okay, when they head towards the United States of America, there's not going to be a such thing as intercepting missiles that's going to shoot these intercontinental ballistic missiles out the sky. That's not going to happen, okay? And not only that, but the Spirit of the Lord is going to be inside these intercontinental ballistic missiles, okay? So it says his arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss. So the Lord is going to make sure that these intercontinental ballistic missiles, He gonna make sure these intercontinental ballistic missiles reach the United States of America and then strike this country. It says when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Now, who can physically take a bow and arrow and shoot an arrow from one country to another? Not a single person. So we know that these arrows is not talking about actual arrows. These arrows are talking about intercontinental ballistic missiles, because it says that the arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss when they begin to be shot to the ends of the world. So that's talking about an intercontinental ballistic missile that travels from one part of the globe to the other side of the globe, and when the intercontinental ballistic missile reaches the other side of the globe, it comes back down towards the earth, okay, where the head of the capsule comes off, and multiple nuclear warheads falls out of that intercontinental ballistic missile and basically rains multiple nuclear warheads upon that designated area. Okay. Okay, so let's go to Revelation. Matter of fact, I can find it much quicker if I just do this. If I type in KJV, it should take me there. Alright, so this is the book of Revelation, chapter 9, verse 13. It says, and the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, Okay, loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great rivers Euphrates. Okay, verse 15. And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the third part of men. Okay, which the third part of men is talking about Esau, Edom. Okay, which are the so-called white people, starting with the so-called elites, trickling down to the rest of their nation, the people. Okay, those are your biblical Edomites, and according to the Holy Scriptures, they are the third part of men, because there are three. There are three. There are 3 different type of nations of people on the planet. Okay, you got the sons of men, which are the heathen nations. You got the sons of the wicked, which are the Edomites, and you got the sons of God. Okay, so in its proper order, you got the sons of God, which are the Israelites, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indians, as it is proven in the Holy Scriptures. And then you got the sons of men, which are the heathen nations, the Arabs, the East Indians, the Africans, the Hawaiians, the Chinese and Japanese people. Okay, you know, the North Koreans, South Koreans, which they're pretty much Moabites, just like the Chinese people. Okay, the Taiwanese are also Moabites, just like the Chinese people. Okay, and then you also have the sons of the wicked, you know, which are the Edomites. And that's starting with the so-called elites, trickling down to the rest of their nation and people. So the third part of men are the sons of the wicked, which are the biblical Edomites. So Revelation chapter 9 verse 16, and the number of the army of horsemen were 200,000. Now the horsemen here is not talking about actual men sitting on horses with lances in their hands, shields, dressed in armor. No, these horsemen is actually talking about intercontinental ballistic missiles. Okay, and I heard the number of them. So he heard the number, the number of these intercontinental ballistic missiles. So this country known as Babylon the Great in the Holy Scriptures, according to biblical prophecy, this country is going to be hit with 200 million missiles. Okay, with the nuclear bombs doing the most damage, because hey, nuclear missiles is not the only weapons of warfare that Russia have. They have hydrogen bombs, you know, they have intercontinental ballistic missiles known as Satan II. And each of these intercontinental ballistic missiles can carry up to hundreds of nuclear warheads. Okay, it says, and thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire. Okay, breastplates of fire. It says, and of jacinth and brimstone. Right? And a matter of fact, I believe I forgot what country it was, but there's a country that have nuclear missiles with brimstone literally edged on the side of the missile. And I believe there was another one called I believe it was called brimstone. Yeah, I don't know if that was Russia or if that was North Korea, but it says the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, right? And the reason why these intercontinental ballistic missiles, the reason why the heads, which the heads is really talking about the sight of them, because when these intercontinental ballistic missiles are shot up in the sky, and the people down here, literally see these missiles flying through the sky, getting ready to come down and strike them at ground zero, people is going to be terrified, right? Like you might be out in the wilderness, you might be out in the desert somewhere, or you might be out in the wildlife, right? And you might encounter a lion. Your first reaction is what? You're going to be terrified. So when these people, when they first lay sight on these intercontinental ballistic missiles, after seeing them up in the sky and heading down towards the earth and in their vicinity, they're going to panic. They're going to be terrified. And there's going to be stampedes of people, and I'm talking about large groups of stampedes of people running, screaming, hollering, panicking, yelling, terrified out of their mind. So it says, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions. Okay? And out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. Okay? And that's basically what a nuclear explosion is. A nuclear explosion is fire and smoke. Ain't that what a nuclear explosion look like? Ain't that what a nuclear explosion look like? Let's go to Google and type in images and then type in nuclear explosion. A nuclear explosion literally looks like fire and smoke. Okay? Let's type in brimstone. I'm probably not going to find it. Yeah, see, they're just going to... Okay, so here's an example of brimstone. It almost looks like a mushroom cloud, don't it? It kind of looks all smoky and stuff. Now let's type in nuclear. Let's type in nuclear explosion. Okay, what do you see right there from a nuclear explosion? What does this look like to you? Fire and smoke. This is what John the Revelator saw on the island of Patmos when he was writing these prophecies. He saw fire and smoke. Okay? What do you see right here? Fire and smoke. Here it is again. Fire and smoke. Top 10 largest nuclear explosions. What do you see right here? Fire and smoke. Okay. Here's another example. Fire and smoke. Nuclear bomb explosion. Mushroom cloud stock. Okay, what do you see right here at the bottom of the nuclear explosion? You see smoke. Right here at the top, you see fire mixed with smoke. So this is what John the Revelator saw in his vision. Okay, it says, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths, right? Because when an intercontinental ballistic missile falls down towards the earth, what happens? The head of the capsule of the intercontinental ballistic missile comes off, and all of those multiple hundreds of nuclear warheads that is inside of the intercontinental ballistic missile rains outside of it, falling down towards the earth. And once those nuclear warheads hit ground zero, each nuclear warhead explodes, leaving behind what? Fire and smoke and brimstone. Okay, and this is what you see from the explosion of a nuclear bomb. or a nuclear warhead. Okay? It says, and by these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone which was issued out of their mouths. Okay? So, whew, boy. It says, for their power is in their mouth. Meaning the power of these intercontinental ballistic missiles really lies with the nuclear warheads that is inside of these intercontinental ballistic missiles. Because remember, each intercontinental ballistic missile can carry up to multiple nuclear warheads, and once that capsule comes off, while the intercontinental ballistic missile is falling down towards the Earth, once the capsule comes off, those hundreds of nuclear warheads inside of the intercontinental ballistic missile comes out of the capsule and falls right down towards their designated targets. And once those nuclear warheads hit ground zero, okay, the fire and smoke, which is the mushroom cloud of a nuclear explosion, comes out of those nuclear warheads and literally destroys everything in its path. A destroying wind, like it tells you in Jeremiah chapter 51 verse 2 or verse 1. It says, and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents. Right? And the tails is talking about the tails is talking about because when a missile when a missile is traveling through the air, it literally leaves behind what? Smoke. So what John the Revelator is describing right here is basically intercontinental ballistic missiles being propelled by fire, which is leaving behind a trail of smoke. Now remember, nuclear bombs or missiles did not exist during the time of John the Revelator. So he was basically describing these intercontinental ballistic missiles to the best of his ability, and he was describing the smoke that these missiles were leaving behind as being like the serpents. It says, and had heads, and within them, and with them they do hurt. Okay, verse 20, and the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils. And these are talking about the so-called elites, because according to biblical prophecy, they're going to survive the nuclear catastrophe which is going to come upon the globe. But the main targets of this nuclear war is going to be the United States of America and the land of Israel. That it says, and the men which were not killed by these plagues yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk. You know, and now this also includes the Israelites, because there's still going to be Israelites that's still going to be around even after the nuclear war. You know. But there's still going to be Israelites that's still going to be around, still worshiping idols. You know, that also includes these heathens. You know, heathen nations are still going to be worshiping idols. Okay, and this also applies to the so-called elites. Neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts. So the so-called elites, they're going to be proud devils until their ass is put into chains and shackles and thrown headfirst right into slavery. So it says, what Russia lacks in naval resources has just been made up by China. What China lacks in hypersonic missile technology is more than covered by Russia. As for manpower, well, I don't want to put too fine a point on it, but we don't stand a chance at all. Right. You see, even this guy right here knows that, they don't stand a chance against a Russia-China alliance. So, hey, man, this country is finished. Again, I'm going to put the link to this article in the description. If you brothers want to read it, you can. With that, I'm going to say, Lord's will, I was able to keep you brothers informed and updated through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. This has been the brother Yashamai. Shalom. So on to the next one.